Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman from Cranberry Fields Flower Farm, and today I want to give you some quick spring rose care tips. So I'd like to invite you on into my mother's memorial rose garden. So I planted this garden in memory of my mom. She loved roses, and I want to show you some of the steps that I take to keep these roses looking beautiful. So here it is, it's like June 3rd, and the roses are in full bloom. We did a few steps in early spring to get these blooms to look like this. I'm gonna walk you through them right now, but I'm also gonna show you some of the steps that I'm doing now to maintain these beautiful blooms so that I get as much bloom power to the punch as I can for this entire season. So let me walk you through the who's who. So right over here, I've got a load of knockout roses. They're double knockout roses. And this is what these guys look like over here. They're nice and gorgeous. They have beautiful like double petals. And I've had these for a long time. They're a very reliable plant. A lot of times you'll see double knockout roses when you come into like stores, like shopping centers, like strip malls, and they have those mass plantings of roses. A lot of times it's the knockout roses. So these are like a tried and true rose. I love them. I love the bright reds. I also love the pinks. I have a couple of the pinks back here, but they're a little bit out of bloom right now. So they come in all different colors, but this is kind of like what the bright pink knockout roses look like. But I also want to show you a beautiful rose that the fine folks over at Proven Winners sent me. So this is also a beautiful, beautiful, thick rose that has double blooms. And these are called Oh So Easy. And the beauty of this plant is that you don't have to even deadhead the blooms once they start to fade. So with my knockout roses, I'm going to deadhead them. These guys, I'm not even going to bother because I can just leave them in place and I will still get continuous blooms throughout the season, all the way until I get a frost. So this is what these look like. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that I actually did. We did here on the farm back in spring. What I do is we wind up cutting back a lot of the roses, about a third, even up to a half, because it's okay to do that when the plant is dormant. So back in spring, we went in there and we just cut them back by about a half. And I'm looking at some of these roses now. Some of them are looking a little ornery. They're not looking very healthy. So I'm going to do the same steps to these guys that we did to all of our roses back in spring when they were dormant. And it's okay to do this now because if I leave this plant the way it is right now, I've got like some diseased leaves. It's not very healthy. I've got a lot of insect damage, and these are just going to cause trouble for the entire rose garden if I leave them be. So I'm going to wind up giving like a really kind of like a harsh pruning right now because I need to get these diseased and damaged branches out of here. But this is kind of like what I did to the rose when it was just dormant and I had no blooms on it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to cut. I'm not even going to worry about, finding like a fresh set of leaves. I'm not going to, worry about cutting on a slant. I'm just going to get in here and really kind of just hack away at this guy. So I'm going to get rid of all these, and I'll show you once again down here. Like this is like dead, it's disease, and this is just going to start some fungal problems. It's going to cause a lot of problems. So I'm going to make sure that when I take these branches out, I'm going to dispose of them. I'm going to put them in like a hefty bag and I'm going to dump them right in the garbage and get rid of them because I want to make sure that I don't remulch them in the garden, because then all of those mold spores and all the diseases and any kind of varmints that are in here are going to go back into the rose bed, and I don't want that. So for now I'm going to put them to the side and I'm going to wind up just putting them in a hefty bag. So this guy too, you could tell it's very sickly looking. It's got to go. So let's get rid of this guy. This one here is interesting because you can see it's got a hole in it. So that's a great place for insects to hide and start to affect your plant. So anything that has a hole in it like that, it's a really good idea to get rid of those branches. Get rid of that guy, that's stuck in there. And then I'm just gonna be a little, harsh in here, just come in here and get most of these guys out. I want to show you that it's also a good idea to get rid of the branches that are kind of spindly, because you want to leave only the thickest, healthiest branches on the plant. So these guys are very skinny, they're a little bit sickly. You definitely want to get rid of these skinny, scrawny guys. And guys, it's also a really good idea to wear gloves as you're working with your roses. So a lot of times I will come out here just because I'm in a hurry, but best gardening practices, if I was a better gardener, I would be wearing thick gloves right now, so you might want to do that. Okay, let's get in here, get rid of these spindly guys. And now I think what I'm going to do is some of these up here, I do want to get rid of these spindly branches, but I've got a beautiful like little bouquet right here. So I'm actually going to snip that off, and I'm going to wind up putting it in a vase, because you might as well, you know, take advantage of the blooms that are there. So you could also make some soaps out of these rose petals. So I'm going to just put them to the side for now. And then I've got some really, really tall, some of these guys don't look sick. They don't look spindly. They don't have any kind of mildew. They don't have, you know, any kind of like insect, but it's really, really tall. So I don't really want to have a rose garden where some of my roses are only like 2 or 3 feet, like the ones over here to the side of it. So if you can see like kind of like a pullback, I want the roses to be a little more uniform, like almost like more of a hedge. Because if I let these guys go kind of wild, it's kind of going to be like this up and down, kind of like Wild West. And if that's the look that you want, that's fine, then you could just leave these be. But I kind of wanted mine to be a little more manicured, almost like more of like an English garden look. So even though these guys are looking healthy, I am going to prune these down, and I am going to look for like a fresh set of leaves to cut them at. And the same thing here. And this is just going to give my plant a recharge. So the more I cut, the more the plant has like more energy to push through and give me some more beautiful blooms. So I'm going to trim a couple more of these right above a set, and I'll show you what that looks like here. I'm looking for a set of 5 leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one even has 6, but I'm going to cut like right above there. And the same thing here, it's a set of 5 leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to cut right above that set there with these healthy branches. These blooms have kind of spent, so I'm not going to have my plant, you know, spend a lot of energy. Well, I'm looking at some new blooms here. I take it back. I think I'm just going to give this guy a little bit of a deadheading. And that's when you just cut off the flowers instead of like the actual stem. So this is just a quick little deadheading. And then it's going to allow the new blooms to open up a little bit faster, because my plant is not wasting energy on the dead blooms. So we'll get rid of some of those. And down at the base of the plant, I've got a lot of dead, really horrible looking branches. So we're going to get rid of some of these. Once again, we've got some more of those holes in there. So we want to get rid of that. See, this one looks all kind of brown down here. So anything that's kind of diseased, dead, or damaged, you want to get rid of. So thank you so much for joining me in this video. And please feel free to say hi to us over on my Cranberry Fields Instagram page, and also check out my podcast and our TikTok channel. And I also made really easy to follow online courses for you, so you know how to grow beautiful flowers just like these in your own backyard. And I will see you in the next video.